Ladies and gentlemen, this instructional video will walk you through what else can happen when you're solving a system of inequalities by graphing. The teaching point for today is you'll learn how to graph a system of inequalities on a coordinate plane, and you'll see that your solution set might be slightly different than what you've been used to. Your success criteria for this instructional video is the same. So you'll need to show your work, shade any potential solution area, and use a test point to verify your solution to help you shade. At this point, go ahead and pause your instructional video. Make sure you have all your materials at your workstation. You'll definitely need a ruler and graph paper, your notebook, a writing utensil, and if you like to shade using colored pencils or highlighters or different colored pens, be sure to grab those as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first system. So take a moment to pause the instructional video, jot down the two inequalities, and I'm going to begin by solving the first inequality. 4x minus 6y is greater than 12. I'm going to go ahead and solve that for y. So I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. Negative 6y is greater than negative 4x plus 12. I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides, every term, by negative 6. And just a friendly reminder, when you divide by negative 6, remember you need to go ahead and flip your inequality symbol. So it was greater than, now it's less than. So y is less than 2/3 x minus 2. My slope in this case is 2/3. My y-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by plotting negative 2 on my y-axis. That's my y-intercept. I'm going to go ahead and rise 2 and run 3. Rise 2, run 3. Remember, I can go in the opposite direction by going down 2 and left 3. Down 2 and left 3. All right, so I think that's my other point right there. In looking at my inequality symbol, it is less than. I'm going to need to use a dotted line. Just a reminder, I don't have the technology to use a ruler when I'm recording these videos, so you have to pardon me, but please make sure you are using a straight edge or ruler yourself. Okay, so there's my dotted line. My favorite test point, as you know from watching these videos, is 0, 0, because it's incredibly easy to add, subtract, multiply, and divide with, so I'm less likely to make any errors when I'm using 0, 0 as a ordered pair to determine my half plane that contains my solutions. So I'm going to plug the ordered pair 0, 0 into 4x minus 6y is greater than 12. I'm going to use my original inequality to test the ordered pair 0, 0. Alright, so I plugged in 0 for x and 0 for y. 4 times 0 is 0, minus 6 times 0 is 0. So is 0 greater than 12? That is false. 0 is not greater than 12, so that means 0, 0 does not, that half plane that contains 0, 0 does not contain the solution set. So that means I'm going to shade away from the ordered pair 0, 0. So anything that's in this purple region is in my potential solution set. So I'd like to point out that I'm kind of careful to make sure I'm not getting too close to my dotted line so my teacher can still read my work. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I just had to clear off my, my workspace so I can get started with the second inequality. So the second inequality is 6x minus 9y is less than negative 36. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6x on both sides. I'm going to get negative 9y is less than negative 6x minus 36. I'll divide both sides by negative 9. Again, just another reminder that when I multiply or divide by negative, I need to flip my inequality symbol. So I'm going to get y is greater than 2/3 x plus 4. Okay, so that means my slope is 2/3, and my y-intercept is 4. So I'll begin over here at 4. And again, I'm going to rise 2 and run 3. Rise 2, run 3. I could also go down 2 and left 3. Down 2 and left 3. Okay, so again, in looking at my symbol, it's greater than. That means I need a dotted line. Again, my reminder that I can't use a perfectly straight edge on this particular piece of technology, so you have to bear with me. But again, please use a ruler on your paper. I'm going to go ahead and use the test point 0, 0 again, because it doesn't fall on the line, to help me to determine which direction to shade. Okay, so just again, another reminder, use the original inequality and substitute 0, 0 in for x and in for y. And let's see here, I'll get 0 minus 0, is that less than negative 36? So 0 is less than negative 36. That is false. So again, we'll shade in the opposite direction of the ordered pair 0, 0. So I'm going to shade everything above that dotted line, being very careful so that my teacher can see that that line is still dotted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I hope you notice that there's no overlap. So there's no area in which my orange or my purple lines will intersect or have any overlapping area. I would like to point out that both lines have the same slope with a different y-intercept. So these regions, these half planes will never intersect. So for that reason, there is no solution. So when I'm showing my work and completing a summative, I'll need to make sure that I show the graph very clearly, show all my work on paper, I show my test points, I show that there is no overlapping area that will be common to both inequalities. So the answer is no solution. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is our last system in this instructional video before we do checkpoints. So my first inequality is x is greater than 3. Because I only have one variable, I am going to go ahead and use an xy table to help me get set up here. I'm going to substitute my values in for y. I typically use negative 2, 0, and 2 anytime I'm doing a substitution or creating a table of this sort, just because I know those values are small enough to fit on my graph. All right, I'm going to go ahead and plot the ordered pair 3. So I go 3 on the x-axis, negative 2 on the y, so there's my first ordered pair. 3, 0 is here, and 3, 2 is going to be right there. Again, I have a greater than symbol, so that means I'm going to be in need of a dotted line. My apologies again for not being able to make a crisp, clear, perfect straight line. Okay, so I need to use my test point 0, 0 and substitute it into that inequality. I only substitute my x value in because I don't have a y value. So 0 is greater than 3. That is false. So what that means is I need to go shade the half plane that is away from 0, 0, which is over here. All right. So now I need to solve the next inequality for, it looks like x because I don't have a y value. So I'm just going to rewrite my inequality here. So I'll subtract 3x on both sides. I'll get negative 3 is greater than 1x. So it looks like x is by itself. If anybody wants to flip it around, perhaps you want it to look like this. X is less than negative 3. So again, I'm going to go ahead and use my, oops, that should be a y there, my table. Substitute the values negative 3 in for x. Again, I always use negative 2, 0, 2 for y. And I'm going to go ahead and plot. So negative 3, negative 2 is here. Negative 3, 0. Negative 3, 2 is there. Again, looking at my inequality symbol, it's not an or equal to one, so I'm going to go ahead and use a dotted line. You, of course, are going to use a perfect straight edge at your table. Again, I'm going to use my test point 0, 0 here. So I'm going to put my work right over here. I'm running out of room. 0, 0. So I need to substitute it into 3x minus 3. Is that greater than 4x? My apologies here for not having a lot of room. So 3 times 3 minus 3. Is that greater than 4 times 3? So 0 minus 3. Is that greater than 0? Is negative 3 greater than 0? That's false. So I'll go ahead and shade the half plane that is on the opposite side of 0, 0. So it will be shading away. So ladies and gentlemen, hopefully it is clear and obvious to you again that I will not have any overlap. Reason being, I have two vertical lines shading in opposite directions, so there'll never be any overlap. So my answer is, there is no answer, no solution. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your turn. Go ahead, pause the instructional video, jot down both systems. Once you've shown all your work, used a test point to verify which direction to shade, everything's graphed, please check in with your teacher to earn your homework. Good luck.